Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here. As the recording of this, it is Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. I took the turnpike down from Celebration to Yeehaw Junction, just off the turnpike exit. So I'm gonna do a couple things here in Yeehaw, the junction of Yeehaw, and then make my way through Kenansville, through St. Cloud, back up Highway 192. But I wanted to stop off here because there's an update on something I have covered many times over the years, and I have not been here since they completely tore it down. It's called the Desert Inn. It's right over my shoulder over there, behind this new gas station. There are an assortment of new gas station, truck stops, etc. Let's have a Yeehaw Junction and Kissimmee St. Cloud day, shall you? That used to be a Stuckey's. In fact, they might still have some Stuckey stuff inside of it. You can definitely see the formation of the building there was a Stuckey's. Turnpike exits right over there. New building right there. And another new gas station right over there. This road is very busy with trucks. Oh dang, look at that. They still have this sign up here. Desert Inn, historic site. The next intersection. Wow. They bulldozed everything. Everything. Well, there's some lights and things that are left, but it's kind of symbolic or ironic. I don't know what the correct word would be in a way. That there's so many trucks that are still continuing through here, and trucks aplenty because there's a truck that created the demise of the Desert Inn, bulldozed, well, it didn't bulldoze it, it plowed into it. A truck similar to this one, an 18-wheeler, went off the road, smashed into the front of it, destroyed a building that was on the National Register of Historic Places. The main section of the building was right here, and there was a kind of a Bates Motel-esque segment to it right here. In fact, I stayed here many years ago. I stayed overnight here before the wreck and the damage. And then I would do updates after the wreck for years. I never thought they would tear it down, but you know what? It's gone now. It's gone. That is wild seeing it from this angle. Plenty of videos I've done. You want to look back and see what it looked like through the progression of the years. Looks like a truck got stuck right here in this sugar sand. And the room I stayed in was right over here. And I was also, again, before it was damaged, so it was open. I got to eat in the restaurant, got to eat in the diner. Got to go up to there was a bordello. As the story's told, there was a famous bordello on the upstairs. I got to go up and check that out. Supposedly it was haunted. Been fascinated by just how many trucks are at this intersection. I mean, it is a haven of trucks. It really is. One of the most, well, I call it iconic spots was right here, where you'd walk in and you'd go up the stairs to the supposedly haunted section right here. And then just to the right was the door that would lead into the diner and all that. Erased from existence. Now right here you can see remnants of where the National Register of Historic Places sign used to be. Now that was ripped out of here a couple of years ago. Did you see the hay bales coming by, trucks coming by? The truck that damaged it plowed right through the front right here, kind of about in that area. And after that, there was no turning back from this place being salvageable. The truck would have came right across the intersection there, went straight across, veered off, kablam right into the front. The rest is history. Corner 441 and 60. Is that what that sign says? Yeah. East and West 60 and North and South 441. Soon there'll be a newer gas station facility like the ones over my shoulders over there at some point. Just noticing those clouds looking, I think I might get a little rain today. Well, that's it, that's the update. Not a whole lot here. Really not a whole heck of a lot here. There's a truck right next to me now. They wanted to check it out. Since I got back in town, I was gone for a long time, and while I was gone they tore it down, so I wasn't able to show up here the next day or see it while they were tearing it down. Look at that. That's a truck tow truck. It's a truck for towing trucks. R.I.P. Desert End for good. You're gone now. Only a couple power poles left. Some of the foliage and trees here. I think over there might be a TV antenna. Power wiring and ground right there. There used to be a pole here that said motel and vacancy. And then again, you had that Bates Motel-esque spot right here. Over the last 3, 4, 5 years, it was really in bad shape. Really in bad shape. There's a relic, one of the few relics that are left. I do love documenting things, sometimes over-documenting and over-filming things over the course of a few years. I've done that with a lot of stuff in the Central Florida area, my home area, my stomping grounds, if you will. This place is no exception. Sometimes I'll go by a place that I think is going to be torn down, just kind of sitting there rotting away, and I'll film an episode just so I can look back one day and see the progression. And that's another thing I could do with this place. A little piece of Central Florida roadside history. This probably is not even salvageable. I don't even know what you'd do with this other than scrap metal. All right, I'm gonna head through Kenansville and up through St. Cloud. Swing by and say hi to my parents, catch up with them. And then back up Highway 192 a little bit later. Do a little 192 action, back up to Celebration. And give me a chance to drive through some real Florida. Plenty of elbow room out here on 441. Those clouds. Love some good cumulonimbus clouds. I pulled over here, there's a little building here. There's a few of these along 441. The way I've always heard it, through local stories, is that the railroad used to run right through here, down 441. So basically where that fence is over there on this rancher's property, so picture the railroad running in the same proximity as where that fence line is. They tore the railroad out many years ago, but they left a lot of these little buildings that were used for either maintenance or for some purpose for the railroad. So they're still out here. Out here in the middle of nowhere, near Yeehaw Junction. Got the windows down, Big the Foot's waving in the breeze, just flowing around in the breeze. All right, I veered off of that road that I was on, and now I'm turning onto South Canoe Creek Road, where the Heartbreak Hotel is. And that was rumored for a while, and then it was debunked that this was where supposedly Elvis stayed here, wrote Heartbreak Hotel here, but not true at all. But it still has the name on the side right there. It says Heartbreak Hotel up on the top. And it was a hotel for a while. Now it's used as offices. And it's right here on the corner of North Bow Street on Canoe Creek Road, where the First State Bank building still stands. I always love this little bank right here. Just so cool looking. I mean, it's just out here in real Florida. First State Bank of Kenansville, as stated on the window here. And I guess every once in a while they open this building up since they renovated it. You can see where it says Kenansville there on the side, a little glare of the clouds. In the window, there's some things inside. The bank building was opened back in 1914, as shown in the tile work there. Kenansville Bank, established 1914. Last time I came by here, I could tell that they renovated the inside as well. For years, it was just empty inside, but they fixed up the inside. No posted hours on when they are open to show it off or anything, but definitely pretty cool. You have the old relics of the past in there. For example, that tiny metal plane right there on the table, antique table. Oh, there's even a payphone or a phone on the wall there. Tried to cut my hand over the glass so you can get a little view of it. It's not working very well though. There it is. This is looking through the back. Ooh, I hear roosters. Just heard a rooster over there. Yes. I always love this too. I'm glad these still remain. These lights have dragons on them. Yeah, you can definitely see that building is being utilized for office space. You see a lot of cars over there. There's a sign on the window that says that there's no vacancy and they do not allow people to rent the rooms. They might even be used as apartments, honestly. The top might be used for apartments. It'd be kind of cool to live in the Heartbreak Hotel, right? Oh, now since the last time I drove by here, this is right next to the Heartbreak Hotel, a block away. There was like a little building, a little house here that kind of reminded me of like Uncle Jesse's house in Dukes of Hazzard up in Georgia where they filmed the first 6 episodes. Which is interesting because now that's gone and all that's left is the fireplace. So, was down there driving this way. The old Kenansville Museum, which is never open, but it's in this old school building. In fact, the post office, which used to be up over near where Heartbreak Hotel is, they moved it, and now it's here. Memory serves correct anyway, it was over a couple blocks up. They placed it right over here. Like the storm knocked down the flagpole, the old vintage flagpole there. $32739. Purchased by Alto Bud Adams Jr. in 1979 and moved to Adams Ranch located in Fort Pierce. 2005, Bud Adams donated the building back to Kenansville Community Association. Okay, I stand corrected. This was not down the road a bit. This was originally in Fort Pierce, from kind of what I was reading. It's got the 1914 on it. I'm not sure why the door is open, but it is. The old post office boxes. Yeah, the floor is not real stable. Oh, this is so cool. This is so dang cool. I don't know if the storm damaged the door also, but this is great. Look at all this info in here. I've never seen any of this. Here is the post mistress, Constant Conant, in front of the old post office. And here's an old homestead, some photos of an old homestead. And this evidently is the new post office, right here. No mail in Kenansville is like a day without sunshine. So if you needed to purchase a money order, you could come here. Teller would be right behind there. This is just so awesome. This is just really cool history. Here's some info on the Kenansville Museum. The door is locked. I tried to do this, but I think maybe because the storm rolled through here with the hurricane, maybe the wind pushed the door open. So I'm just going to shut it back. Well, I can't. Okay. Evidently, the door is warped and it will not close. Yeah, you see there. Man, that is such a cool piece of history, both of these spots. It was constructed in 1917, the school building was, on 5 acres of land by money that was $6,000 donated by the estate of Mrs. Mary Lily Keenan Flagler Bingham. That is a lot of names. See where shingles have flown off the roof from the storm. Gotta love old Florida history. Just fascinating. Just fascinating if you could just go back in time or look back in time. Obviously now everything is well documented, you know, with videos and photos and just social media and everything. But stuff, you know, back when this was built, this was being utilized for what it was intended for. There's not a lot of documentation on it. A couple photos here and there. It's always fascinating to me how, as time progresses, you know, more and more stuff is just out there, where you kind of look back nostalgically on things you had nothing to do with. Close this back. All right, I'm gonna continue moving on. The good old days, some say. I wasn't there, so I don't know how good they were, but looking back on the good old days. Hello, cows. Hello. How you doing out there? Having a good day? There's some cows just grazing out there, having a good old time grazing. Good to see you, cows. You know what? This might be a new Kenansville fire station right here. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Nice. If I did, I didn't notice it. Still in Kenansville. I don't know if I've ever seen a headstone like this. So you got the cross here. You got barbed wire around it. Obviously a rancher and a horse rider farmer. You know, going back to what I was saying about everything now is documented, so everyone's life is really thoroughly, heavily documented in some fashion. You know, for ages, for when we're gone, we'll have things that anybody can look back on. Anything that you've posted and is out there, or other people have taken photographs of you, or at events, videos that are just kind of floating around, it's all out there. But people will be able to look back. You know, but someone that passed away in 1920, unless you had a newspaper article written about you, other than your immediate family and friends and the people you came into contact with experience-wise, there's not a lot out there. So that's why I'm always fascinated by headstones and people's final resting places. Because in a lot of ways, for some, it's the last thing of their legacy. To others who were not associated with them, or the direct family of others that were associated. This is an old one that were associated with them. There's Jim Harvey. This is also interesting. It's spelled out Borned, instead of born, Borned with an ED. Born in 1862, Mr. Harvey, James A. Harvey. Now you look at these, there's no inscriptions or writing on them. There may have been at one point, and you know, over the years, weather worn. There are a lot of crosses all lined up right here. Also, you don't see these too often. This style. Where it protrudes up out of the ground like that. It's a family plot of the Stories. Nancy Jane, 1928 tender mother and a faithful wife. 1928, and there's a hand pointing up to the heavens there. And then this is probably part of the story. This cracked headstone. And then Morty, 1943. The First Missionary Baptist Church out here. Here on the corner of Lake Marion. That's where I just was over there. I'm always fascinated when I see headstones and names and think of who those people were, what they did. And when I see buildings like this was someone's home. My dad and I have discussed this whenever we see old buildings, and especially businesses that are closed, houses, and you think, this was someone's dream. This was their life. This is where at one point they were excited for what was happening. And then generations passed and their business closes or their house is empty and things progress. It's always interesting to think about. It really kind of puts things in perspective sometime on the things that we dwell on and worry about. You know, in the grand scheme of things, years from now really aren't going to be important to anyone, just important to us. All right, moving on. That is an eagle's nest. I don't know if after the storm, if the eagles have returned, but that is definitely an eagle's nest right up there. Pretty neat, right? Looks a little tattered and worn down, so I don't know if the eagles probably went elsewhere before the hurricane, if they've returned, but that is definitely, or was, an eagle's nest. Hello, cows. How you guys doing? How you doing over there, cow? Just lounging in the shade? Yeah, I know, it's a little warm today. There was kind of a cold front that was rolling through, but I think that the cold front has moved on. It's moved on! You see what I did there? Yeah, you turned your head, I know. It's a bad joke. It's a little warm, so stay in the shade. Stay in the shade, cows. Good to see all these cows. I love cows. Like this one right here, just making eye contact, just staring me down. The other one's defecating. All right, cows, I'll see you later. Oh, wow. So this Winn Dixie, I worked at Winn Dixie twice in my life. Separated by about 10, 15 years. I worked a lot of retail back in the day. And I worked at this Winn Dixie, which is close to the Manor, what they call the area of the Manor in St. Cloud, outskirts of St. Cloud, Florida. I'm going to stop in here and get a 2025 calendar book, because I always like to have calendar books for my plans, and I already got to start planning my international next year. This store that I used to work at is closing soon. Look at that. Wow. Got some serious memories in this place. I worked here for about a year. It was before I went to get a job at the feed store, where I worked 5 years, and I quit the feed store on August 9th, 2011. So it would have been the year before the 5 years, so it would have been 6 years before 2011, so 2005-ish. First time I worked at Winn Dixie was in mid-90s, and then I didn't work for Winn Dixie for a long time, and then back to Winn Dixie again. And to be honest, by walking around inside, that really brought back a lot of memories, and I don't even think I've been back in the store since I quit. I don't think I have been back in there, but walking the aisles, especially going towards the back of the store, we would always unload the pallets, the trucks would come in, we would spot the groceries for overnight stock crew. Really brought back a lot of memories. And on our breaks, the whole stock crew would walk over to this convenience store over there, get our hot dogs and snacks and things on our lunch break. We would sit outside, sit out front, and then go back in, clock back in, and get back to work. There was also a Blockbuster Video down here on the corner that I applied at. Can't remember if it was before. I think it was maybe before or after working at this Winn Dixie, and before I was down there on that corner. Possibly before going to the feed store, which was the last place I punched a clock at. They wouldn't hire me at a Blockbuster Video. The manager, he didn't want to hire me. He did not approve of tattoos when I walked in. It was a different time then. It was definitely a different time. I feel like people are a little more acceptable of tattoos now in the workplace. But yeah, memories right here at this little shopping center on the St. Cloud Manor. R.I.P. to this Winn Dixie. Also, they did not have the calendar date book in there. Got a couple other things that were on clearance, but did not get the calendar date book. So at some point today, I got to get that. Already starting to plan out January and February 2025 international plans. I'm also going to Alaska in November, but that's this year. I got that in the date book for 2024, but I need 2025. Not that Alaska is international, because this is my last 50 state. I'm going to my final of the 50 U.S. states in November. I'm going to call it my little snow winter couple weeks in Alaska. Start in November. And then Alani in December, a little family trip. Hawaii, and then starting right off the bat in January, international travels. All right, leaving St. Cloud now. I hung out at my parents' house for a long time, caught up, talked about a lot of things. My mom made soup, discussed some things, and I have already booked my first trip into next year. It's not the first place I'm going to be going, but I've already booked my first international trip of 2025. Time got away from me when I was over there. It's already almost 9 p.m. Yeah, it was kind of good to catch up and hang out with my parents most of the time. You know, going by that Winn Dixie that was closing that I used to work at reminded me of other places that I used to work at that now don't even exist anymore. Like this Zenith Career Center used to be a Kmart. I worked here for 5 years in this building, and I heard, so this Kmart closed many years ago, but a lot of places that I used to have jobs out have gone out of business. I think I saw something online that the last existing Kmart, wherever that was, has just now closed. Like Kmart doesn't even exist anymore. But I worked at this one right here for 5 years back in the day. So I've been doing YouTube for a long time. I think it was 2011. I did a video right here. I had my van parked here. I did a van dwelling video talking about how I moved out of my apartment, was going to work at the feed store a few more months to pay some bills off. I worked at the feed store for 5 years, but the last 6 months of that, lived in the van, paid some bills off, put a little bit of money in savings, not much, just a little bit in savings from not having the apartment the last few months I worked at the feed store by crashing in the van. And then I just did a video here talking about van dwelling in front of where I used to work at the Kmart. Little did I know that all these years later I would still be doing this. I'd still be freaking doing this YouTube thing. Up here deeper into Kissimmee used to be a Kmart also. I work mostly at the other Kmart, but occasionally I'd work at this one. This one's been empty for a long time. Worked a lot of jobs in the Kissimmee St. Cloud area. A lot of retail jobs. Here's another spot I used to work at. It's now a Planet Fitness. But this was Office Max. Right here, I used to work right inside there at Office Max for 5 years. To be honest, I don't even know if Office Max is even still a company anymore. But yeah, 5 years I worked right there inside that building. Getting some serious nostalgia today after seeing that Winn Dixie closing. It's kind of weird to look back on your life and where you worked and stuff and how things change. Hello there, 192 Wizard. Well, there's technically two 192 Wizards, but this is a closer one to my place. There's another one farther down 192, closer to Highway 27. The Wizard at night. All right, back home now. Got my 2025 notepad here. As you open it up, it's got the dates on it of a calendar, and it also has other pages that you could fill it up with different things, so I can handwrite. Obviously, I keep stuff in my phone, but as far as travel plans, rental cars, flights, hotels, events, all that, I like to have it kind of right in front of me. And I always have books like this that I take with me on the road as well, go in my suitcase. So I have 2025 already started. I've already booked a trip already for next year. This is this year's, of course, 2024. And this was last year's, 2023. Right here, I put the big TheDailyWoo sticker on there. But yeah, these are always with me. If I'm home, they're here. And if not, they're in my luggage. I always make sure I have these so I know what the heck's going on. Keeps me organized. So next year, a lot of international. This year, November, I'll be going to Alaska for 2 weeks, shortly into November. And then Hawaii, LA and Hawaii in December. Then I come back for about a week. And then international begins. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. The vlog is over.